Welcome to the Real Room, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, John Hinton, and you are in a real place for real people to have real conversation where we try our best to be relational, educational, authentic, and loving. Yo, shout out to everybody watching on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcast. However, you are consuming your content. Thank you for stepping in the real room and getting real with us. Yo, what's going on, everybody? I'm super excited to, sit down and get real with y'all today. Come on, this is like turned into like one of my favorite parts of the week. I mean, I have a lot of different favorite parts of my week, a lot of different people I get to hang out with and spend time with. So it's really hard to, pinpoint who my favorite person is or what my favorite time of the week is. But this is definitely one of my favorite times of the week because I get to sit down and get real with y'all. I get to hang out with y'all. I get to talk about topics that God puts on my heart, or things that are going on within the culture, or even just my life in general, because your boy's out here in real time going through things, and I'm learning. Y'all know this. I love to learn. I love to go through life. I love to be in relationship with people and learn and have a fun time and just, be myself and do what God put me on this earth to do, and that's to love people and share his love with people. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite times of the week, and I'm super excited to spend it with each and every single one of you guys. So if you're stepping in the real room with me today, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me. It literally means the most, and you are officially a real one. Whether this is your first time tuning in or you are a frequent flyer here in the real room, you're a real one. You're a real one to me. And I just want to thank you for keeping it real. Yeah, so your boy's been kind of busy. I'm going to be real with y'all. I've been kind of busy, fam. Been doing a lot. Let me give you a rundown. Catch y'all up real quick. For the past couple weeks, obviously, we've had quite a few guests, which, bro, let's hear it for the guest, yo. So excited. Yo, we had a lot of good guests on this show so far, or in this room, or whatever you want to call it, however you want to say it. I've been having a lot of fun sitting down and getting to know these people that I do life with even more, and also allowing you guys access to our relationship, to our conversation. One of my favorite things is to just sit down with somebody, and the fact that we get to do that, sit down, have a conversation, and then just close the door and hit record so all of you guys can be like a fly on the wall, and you guys get access to that conversation. It's so great. And I love to be able to be a person, or I love to be able to be a person that's able to give people access to real people going through real life, and getting to learn from in real moments, in real time. You know what I mean? So we've been having a lot of good guests. Shout out to all of them. I love them so much. I can't wait to have them back. I know Oyama, me and him have been talking. I want to get him back in the real room ASAP, so we can just be in here vibing now that he's told his story a little bit. And then my wife, of course. We've been trying to figure out a plan that works for us on more of a frequent and more steady schedule, to where we can just be in here chilling. I don't know if we're gonna make it like a separate segment than the actual real room. Of course, we're still gonna be in the real room, but I don't know. We might have to call it like hanging with the Hintons or something. I don't think she's a fan of that, but I love the way it sounds. So we might be doing that soon. Um, as you can tell, like already, I've been planning. We've been doing a lot. We've been super busy. And I just want to fill you in on that. Like we've had a lot of guests here, been running this podcast generally on my own, which if you're not running a podcast, I want you to know there's a lot of work behind the scenes. Getting this all up and running, staying steady, staying consistent so that you guys are never lacking in the connection with every one of us. Had to clear my throat for a second. Forgot my water. But yeah, just been putting in a lot of work. And then also with that, been developing a merch store. Yeah, I'm building a merch store so that you guys can get some merch. And I'm not talking like just a regular like merch store. Like I'm not just making t-shirts. We ain't just printing t-shirts. Like I want to come at y'all with some t-shirts, some book bags, like some packs, some tumblers, coffee cups, that type of thing. Like, if you want real room merch, I want you to be able to have it. And I'm trying to work something out to where whatever your lifestyle is or whatever you're into, there's something for everybody in there, because the real room's for everybody. So yeah, we've been doing that along with trying to plan for the future, like future events. I'm really hoping this summer we got an event coming up to where we're going out of state. So I want to pack up like all my gear if I could, and really just utilize that time to see about like doing like somewhat of a vlog type project. And then while we're there, setting it up, and just really utilizing the time, because I'm going to be around a lot of people, and we're going to have time to have real conversations about what we're going through in real time, because it's going to be a great event. More to come on that. But yeah, we're just out here planning for the podcast. And then while doing that, Pauline and I are married. So we got marriage, that's a whole journey and a half itself. And I mean, where's all my married people out there? Like, y'all know what it is. Like, married life is a full-time gig, bro. There ain't no taking time off for marriage. Like, you're in it, like you in it. And, depending on your partner is whether will tell you whether it's going to be easier or harder. And Pauline and I, man, we've only been married for like 3 years. It'll be like 4 years this year. Yeah, it'll be 4 years this year. We got married in 2020. So we're still early birds, still greenhorns. We're newbies at this thing. So we're just trying to figure it out. We're actually coming out of a season where we went through some marital counseling and stuff like that. And we're still like going through it, but it's like a lot different. It's a lot different. It's not like we go into like weekly counseling sessions or anything like that. It's more or less like we're doing life with the people who are helping us. And we're being trusted and held accountable to deal with the issues that we found out were there when we went through counseling. So that's a journey, and it's really fun. It's a great journey. It's an amazing journey. I mean, it has its ups and its downs. I mean, it's marriage, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful because we're getting closer to God. We're getting closer to ourselves and who He wants us to be, not only for Him, but also ourselves and also each other. So we're getting to understand just really a deeper understanding of what marriage is and what it's supposed to be like, and just the mysteries of marriage, So we're getting to go through that. So while we're going through that, we're also, we got 9 to 5 jobs. I work a part-time job, and she works a full-time job. And my part-time's just like one day off. So it's like I'm practically full time. It's just not as many hours. So yeah, we're like super busy. And then if that's already not enough, we also do youth ministry, and that itself is like, yo, everybody out there who has kids, you understand how they can be. If you got teenagers, you understand how they can be. And that in itself, it's not like we're out here parenting kids, but we are partnering with parents, and we are serving in our church pretty often, and we're just heading up youth ministry, and I wouldn't say necessarily building it from the ground up. Our our mentors did a really good job at building the foundation of our youth ministry. We're really just coming in. We're not youth pastors or nothing. We're youth leaders, and we're coming in, and our job really is just to love those teens and teach them about Jesus while also planning events and stuff like that. And our heart about it is just to help them understand who Jesus is, and then help them to come to know who they are in Jesus, while helping them and their friends to know that church is fun. God's fun. And we're really just out here having a good time with that. It's definitely a journey. It's definitely different, but it's really fun. So, all that being said, your boy's busy. Like, really, really busy. Like, we've been putting in work out here, and I am not a promoter for burnout. Like, oh gosh, whether you're in ministry or not, like, we all know what burnout is. We all know what that can be like. And if you don't, God bless you and your whole soul. I hope you never have to realize it, or come to know what it is, or even go through it. Do your research, so if you know what's coming on, you'll be able to put up some preventative measures. But yeah, I'm not a promoter for burnout. I don't enjoy burnout. It doesn't look good on people, and when people go through it, it's not fun for them or the people around them. So while we're getting busier in life, God's kind of like came in and like grabbed me up and helped me to kind of understand that I shouldn't be, you know, making myself so busy that I get burnout, or allowing myself to get so busy that I burn out. And then also helping me to come to understand what I can do to prevent that type of thing. So I guess today might be like a little cheat code day. I'm gonna give y'all like a cheat code, or at least the cheat code that I'm learning right now, and I'm going through the process while I'm learning this, so I don't have it all figured out. But I really just wanted to share with you what I've come to understand already, and what works for me might not work for you, but I still want to share it because it's some really good information, and I really feel like that somebody could benefit from it. And if you have a busy lifestyle, I mean, like, whether you're in ministry or not, this is for everybody. Like, if you're in ministry or you're in business, if you're a parent, if you're going to school right now, like, whatever you're doing, whatever walk of life you're in, we got something for you today. And that's how to avoid burnout. Because one of the things that we have to manage and we have to steward correctly is our time. I mean, you hear this little phrase, it's kind of cliche, time is money, money is time. Like, those things go hand in hand because we live in a world, in a society that we need money. Well, we also need to utilize the time that we have. Well, we're like trading off the time that we have for the money so that we can somewhat, buy more time at times. Does that make sense? Y'all get it, right? Like, we're living in a society, a fast-paced society that is, it all revolves around how you spend your time and how you spend your money, and how are you making your time and or money benefit you. And as I am growing and living, I'm coming to understand that I value time more than I value money. And praise God for that, because I used to be a money chaser. I used to be somebody that's like, yeah, no, let's work. Let's put in that work. Let's get that overtime. Let's do all these things, stack up this bread, uh, get this lettuce, and let's spend it. But I'd usually be spending on like dumb stuff because I was unsaved at the time. So you're looking at like an ex-weekend warrior. Like I'd be going out spending my money on drugs, alcohol, clothes, all that jazz. But now your boy's a little older. He's married, and planning for a future, trying to, still do or make the responsible choices and stack that bread. But I'm also coming to value my time more than anything and what I'm choosing to do with my time. My pastor spoke one time with my wife and I and everyone else in our church leadership on managing time and the importance on managing your time and really kind of, sitting down, planning out your day, planning out your week, planning out your month, planning out your year, and how we shouldn't get so caught up in living in the future, but we should consider the future in the plans of today. And when you're planning for today, you're planning for the week, you're planning for the month and the year, you have to consider, how are you utilizing your time? And are you using your time correctly? Are you spread too thin? Are you not doing enough? These are all things that are different for every single person in every different walk of life. And so I would encourage you right now as I'm talking, think about your time, think about your schedule and how you spend your time, and ask yourself, are you utilizing the time that you have? Are you making the best of the time that you have? And are you utilizing it in such a way that not only you, but the ones around you are benefiting from it in a positive way? And when I started getting busier here recently, all these things have been coming back up to my mind, and God's been reminding me of the things that I've been taught by my mentors, and helping me to really hone in and focus on, am I utilizing my time correctly? Because sometimes I can get really, really, I don't like pressure, and I don't like last minute things. And when, something comes up last minute that changes schedules and this and that, and it puts me in a difficult spot, pressure is applied to me, and I don't feel like anybody can make good decisions, or at least healthy decisions, when it's last minute and there's pressure. I don't think that's good for anybody. So I've been trying, or I feel like God's been trying to get me to understand these things and remember all that I've been taught, to make sure that I'm putting myself in a better position to, just go through life and really just utilize the time that I have, so that I'm able to operate at tip top shape, like all cylinders running at the same pace, and I'm just not overdoing it. And I'm actually, not causing myself to get burnout. And when I started doing this, I actually seen that I was doing a lot. Obviously, done told you, I've been doing a lot. And I wouldn't say that I'm doing too much, but what I realized about my schedule the most, and here we're going to have a real moment, okay? What I realized about my schedule was that I wasn't really making time for God. I mean, I'll be real right there. Like, guys, I wasn't making time for God. And whether you believe in God or not, maybe think about your own personal life. Like, are you making time for the people who matter to you, the people who are depending upon you, the people who need you? And are you really taking care of yourself in a way that puts you in a position to take care of them? And God was kind of helping me to understand, like, it's kind of like he was coming to me. He was like, John, you're not making time for me. Like, yeah, you're doing a lot for me. Like, you're trying to be a good husband. You're trying to serve me with this podcast. You're trying to serve others. You're trying to walk in ministry in a way that's responsible and healthy and all these things, and get these things up and running. And I'm really just out here. But he was kind of saying, like, you were doing all these things for me, but I only want you. Like, I only care about you. Like, I care about your heart. I care about the time that we spend together. Like, yeah, we can be out here doing things for God, but if we think for a second that he wants our things or the effort that we can put forth, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, if we think for a second that he wants that instead of us, we are completely deceived. We have it all wrong. Like, God only wants us. He wants our hearts. He wants the time that we can share to develop a deeper and stronger relationship with him. And I was reminded of this statement that a pastor once made at a conference. And it was, if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. Really think about that. If you're out here living for God, trying to be a good person, trying to serve at your church, trying to serve your spouse, trying to serve your kids, trying to take care of the people around you and do the right thing and do all that you can for God, but yet you're ignoring him, you fell into the trap. And I believe in a lot of ways we all fall into this trap. And God reminded me of that statement, and I was pretty convicted. I'm like, dang. All right, Dad. Like, I get it. I hear you. And it was real. Like, that was a complete, like, I didn't like the way that it made me feel. So, I had to do some thinking about that, and I had to see about changing and see what I could do to change, seeing how I could be better. And it's not like it's all right. I get, like, I'm gonna say it. If you're doing too much, obviously, just maybe think about doing less. Like, if you're doing way too much and you're spread way too thin, I would write out what you got to do and start, seeing what doesn't make the cut, or delegating tasks. Like, you got to be responsible with your time and with your effort. And there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many hours in the day. And yeah, you spend some of it at work. Yeah, you spend some of it doing your own personal thing. But there are people in your life who deserve your time. And ultimately, there is a very real God who deserves your time. And I'm not saying that you don't deserve some of your time. You do. But we need to start being real with our time, or real with ourselves, so that we can consider if we're using our time correctly or in a healthy way. So yeah, God kind of spanked me with that little thought. So I started thinking about my schedule, what I can do, how I can delegate tasks, how Pauline and I can work together, to, get better at making our time worth it. Really just utilizing our efforts and the time that we have so that, or in such a way that we can prepare for tomorrow. Because if we're prepared for tomorrow, then we can prepare for the next day tomorrow and prepare for the next day tomorrow. And then sooner or later, like setting time aside to prepare for the week, prepare for the month, prepare for the 6 months, like so on and so forth. Like, I think you get it. And I've been having to really just look that in the face while also trying to figure out how to make time for God. Because that's a very real thing. And, God has his ways. He kind of like poses a question or a statement and makes you think about it. And then he gives you an answer. Like, so always be looking. Like, if you're hearing God or you're seeing God work, give it some time. Be patient. Think about those things and don't forget about those things. But be looking for the answer. Be looking for God to confirm. And I remember here recently, Pauline it was a chill night. We decided to get off our phones, spend some time with each other. And I had left the room and then I came back. I think I took a shower and then I came back and she was listening to this video on YouTube of this woman named Stephanie Gretzinger. I love this woman to death. Great worshiper. And this is my sister in Christ for sure. She's just got a heart for Jesus like I have never seen. And yeah, I admire her so very much. Her heart is amazing. And she was with this other friend of hers who was also a worshiper. And they were just, I think it was like some kind of a conference or something. And they were just chilling on a couch that was on a stage. It was like pretty chill. And they started talking about just God's presence. And they were talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but like, how like if you're looking for God, he shows up. If you're listening for God, you hear him. And whether you believe in God or not, please stick with me. You're gonna get something good, because this applies in all areas of your life. If it's not God, it's somebody else. And I'm not saying build idols. I'm not saying idolize people, but there are people in your life. There are things in your life. There's a very real God in your life, whether you believe in him or not, that deserves your time and needs your attention. So hear me out and then apply this wherever it fits with your life. So this woman, they were talking about God's presence, and they were talking about pretty much essentially how we overcomplicate everything when it comes to God and his presence. Like, we think that we gotta read our Bible we gotta read our Bible for a couple hours and do a Bible study, and then we gotta pray for a few hours, and then we gotta worship for a few hours, and then on top of that, what else is in our schedule, guys? Like work, family, personal time, all these things. Like, how are we supposed to do all these things and still make that much room for God? And I'm not saying that he's a side note or like he's a hobby or anything like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is that they put a perspective and I received a revelation from God that I had been looking for, and it was like an answered prayer while he pretty much like gave me the statement, and then I'm watching a video, and now I'm getting the answer. And they started talking about how to make God practical. I want to say it like that, but they broke down how they can, or how we should practice practical things to get into God's presence. So that's practice practical things that will place us in God's presence. Say that 3 times fast. Yeah. It was really amazing though. Like, here's the concept. Okay, you ready? God's with us all the time. All he wants is for us to acknowledge him. All he wants us to do is be aware of the fact that he is right there with us all the time. And he's doing life with us. He's helping us while we're at our jobs. He's helping us while we're teaching our kids. He's helping us as we're going through the cycles of life in our daily lives. Like, he's right there. And it's like, it was like kind of like an aha moment. Like, what? Like, God was in my life before I was serving him. So then when I come to make him my Lord and my Savior and I decide to serve him, he's still there. It's just, why hasn't like this light bulb like clicked on in my head to where I'm like, oh, I should just acknowledge him at every moment of every single day. And that's what I think Paul means when he speaks in the Bible. Don't ask me for the quote. I can't quote scripture, but I do know he spoke about praying without ceasing. So praying without stopping. It's like we overcomplicate this idea of prayer to where we gotta like go in our closet or go in our room or our secret place, wherever that is, and be there for hours and pray without stopping. Where I don't think it's that specific. I actually believe the way that I come to understand what these two ladies were talking about, making practical practices or practicing practical things to get in God's presence, is literally just giving God acknowledgement. And that is praying. Like, it's acknowledging God. It's giving him our attention. And I started putting this into practice. And the woman suggested that she would just ground herself in God. She would focus on God's character, who God was, who she was to God and in God and all these things. And she would just be in his presence. And then she would set an alarm on her phone. And then when she'd start going through life, like, obviously, like, you get caught up in things, you start doing things, and it takes you away from that focus. So when her alarm would go off, it would bring her back to where she was originally at, where she was grounded in God. And I started doing that. Like, I was so inspired by that. And I'm like, yo, that makes so much sense to when we go through things in life and we're going through the cycles of our daily schedule and all these things that we do within the day, how many things take our focus if we could just bring ourselves back to God. And I just loved the idea, and I started doing it. I started to put it into practice to where, like, wherever I was at, and I wasn't perfect at it by any means, putting something new into your schedule or trying to create a new pattern, a new habit is so difficult to do. But I started doing this, and when I tell you, like, it helps, it literally helps. And I would literally just, whenever I thought about it, I didn't go so far as setting an alarm, but I'm really thinking I have to. Because if I don't, I'll forget. But I would just stop and I would just breathe. And I would focus on God. And I would allow him to just fill me with his peace, his joy, and just be aware that he's with me. And when I tell you, that alone just lightened my shoulders from stress, from guilt, shame, It took any negative thoughts out of my head, and what was replaced was just of God. And it's something that I believe we all can benefit from. And whether you believe in God or not, just ask yourself what do you ground yourself in? Where do you find your center? I find my center in Jesus. A lot of us Christians do. Like, I find my center in who God says he is and who he says I am, and our relationship and all the things that he's done for me throughout the years, and how he's still helping me to despite who I am and what I've done. Um, but where do you find your center? Where are you grounded? What are you grounded in? And if it's nothing, okay, cool. So, like, say you're a full-time parent and parenting can get hectic. Be practical. Practice a practical thing, something that you can fit in to your schedule, and just take a minute every single hour and just breathe. Focus on no chaos, nothing. And I know kids can be chaotic, but like, do it with your kids, depending on how old they are. Like, start this practice. Like, I want you all to come to understand, like, what I'm giving you. Oh my gosh, it's helped me so much. And I just want everybody else to be helped by this cheat code. It's a cheat code of life, is just to practice a practical thing of just grounding yourself and focusing on God and good things, positive thoughts, being grateful for where you're at, what you're going through, and finding the good in your situation in that moment. Literally turns your whole thinking around. It turns the way that you feel around. It turns the way that you perceive life completely around. You do a complete 180 when you do this. And I want everybody to experience what I've come to learn and experience in a very personal way. And when I tell you it's changed my life, oh my gosh, yes. So it's not like you have to stop being busy, or you have to stop these things that you're doing that are being demanding. Like we're all going through life, and there's things that are pulling us in different directions, and we have responsibilities. And it's not like we can be irresponsible and just throw our responsibilities away and throw all the things that we have to do away. Like, no, I'm not saying quit. I'm not saying stop. But what I am saying, though, is make some real time to turn your life around. Practice this practical thing that'll place you in God's presence. Maybe you don't believe in God. I get it. But what if for a minute you maybe thought about and acknowledged and chose to be aware that he may be real? That's a crazy thought, right? Like, maybe dude, he can do a lot with a minute. He can do a lot in a moment. Give him a minute. Give him a moment. See what he does with it. And then on top of that, for my brothers and sisters in Christ, like, if we think that we're going to go through our busy lives and then at the end of our day, run into our secret place, run into our prayer closet, and go and be alone with God and focused on God, like, I don't know, maybe I'm different than everybody else, but it doesn't work like that for me. It's like I spend most of the, like, say I set a time to meet with God, and I set aside an hour. The moment I come in, it's like I spend the majority of that hour trying to just stop thinking about all the things that are trying to drag at my attention, and the things that happen throughout the day, and the things that I got to do. And by the time I get anywhere close to acknowledging God's presence, like, it's like I either one, I'm about to fall asleep because I'm tired, or two, the hour's almost up. The time I set aside is almost up. And just think, if you're in God's presence or being aware of God's presence continually throughout the day, how much easier is it going to be to go in and get into God's presence when you go to your secret place for that time that you set aside? Like, think about it. Like, this is a practice that is so practical for our lives in the fast-paced lifestyle, the busy lifestyle and society that we're all currently in. And God just wants us to be still and know that he's God. And I believe that if we do that, we will see our lives turn around. We'll see our schedules turn around. We'll see just so many positives in it. Like, there's just so much there. And I want you all to experience that. And it's just like, yeah, it's going to be good. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, because I learned I'm kind of uncomfortable with silence. I don't know if I'm the only one, but like, I'm a weirdo. Like, bro, if I am in a restaurant for like dinner or something, like, I can't be sitting in the middle of the restaurant because I can hear everybody's conversations. And it's somewhat soothing, but yet not at all. So I got to be sitting somewhere not in the center. And then all the way on the other side of the spectrum, I'm uncomfortable with silence. But God, through this practice, has helped me to be comfortable in silence and seek silence. Because if we're going to hear God's voice, one, if you're seeking to hear from God, first read his Bible, because he done said a lot. And then two, go and get quiet. Go and be silent and just listen for God's voice. Because the way he talks is by whispering. And he whispers. Like, think about that. For me to be able to hear a whisper, I got to get close to someone. I can't hear a whisper from far away. So I have to acknowledge that he's there with me this whole time. He's here in this room with me. He's right there where you're at, and he's close. And if you acknowledge how close he is and you focus, you can hear his voice. So if you're seeking to hear from God, if you're seeking to come to know him more and spend more time with him, please, I encourage you, just like, do this cheat code in your life and try to get close to him. Try to hear his voice. Try to just put this practical practice into place so that you can experience his presence, maybe for the first time, or maybe just more on a regular basis. And I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. It's changed my life, and it's helped me to come to understand in another way that things aren't as complicated as we as Christians kind of make it out to be sometimes. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And if it has, if maybe you've been trying this, or maybe you want to commit to trying this, yeah, please, can you please just do me a favor and either reach out to me personally or drop a comment and let me know how this is going. Let me know if you heard him. Let me know the changes that you're seeing within your life, within your schedule, within like how you feel going through the same schedule that you're going through. That maybe you didn't even change. You just chose to take some time to just kind of unwind in a way, or just find peace in a way, and just relieve yourself of the stress and just the draw of these things, or the pressure that responsibilities have on your mind, on your heart, on just your body too as well. Let me know how your life has improved, whether it has been mental, emotional, or spiritual, or even physical. However your life's improving, let me know. Drop a comment. Let me know if this has helped. But yeah, that's the cheat code for the day. That's the cheat code for the week. And I'm going through this in real time too. So like, I'm growing, and yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys and come in the real room and spend some time with you guys. So if you made it this far, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that we got to spend some time this week, and we got to sit down and just get real about, real life, practical things that we're going through in life. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to so much more. Because I'm out here. Like I told you, I'm out here, I'm busy, I'm doing things. And when I get to sit down in this chair and in this room with you guys, it's a nice little break from life, for one. And for two, it helps me. So I hope that you're getting help. I hope that this is helping you. I hope that you're growing in some way. I hope that you like the room that we make here for each one of us to just, be real in. Speaking of which, like, I know very personally, and I just want to say it, like, it blessed my whole soul. Somebody left a comment that simply just thanked us for making room. And it blessed my whole soul because, for God to allow us to be a place where we can, or for God to allow us to be people to make a place for each and every single one of us to come and just be real. It's simply amazing. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed by each one of you guys who have chosen to come and utilize this space and spend time with us. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for this time that we've gotten to share. And I'm looking forward to more time and more room that we will share in the future. So yeah, that's all the time I got today, guys. I got to get back to this busy lifestyle, this busy schedule I got. Lots going on. I'll probably have more to share in the future, but thank you all for stepping in the real room and getting real with us today. Until next week, keep it real.